All right. Good evening, guys. Welcome to today's session. Please go ahead and drop a message on Discord, on WhatsApp, so that we have others join the class and know that we are live. Hi, Will. Good evening. Welcome to today's session.
Hi everyone, evening.
All right.
So,
So I think stage is all yours. I can be on the standby.
okay, thank you. so, today we are looking at DOM, right? Um, in JavaScript. So, the first question we're gonna ask ourselves is, what is the DOM, right? So, DOM is short for the term Document Object Model, right? So, this is basically the uh, this is basically a means for you to access and manipulate um, elements in your HTML page. So when you guys did like HTML and you guys learned um, different elements, right? So with JavaScript, we could um, we could manipulate this element. So for example, if I share my screen, so let's share screen. Um, so if you guys should see my screen I'm sharing right now. Okay, so we are like, oh, sorry, let me just clear this out. So let's just say we have just one single element here, right? So let's say we have our H1, right? Now, if I should type something here, as you can see, this is our element, right? Once we've written this, it does it. If we want to like change something, we have to rewrite it in the HTML. But what if we have a situation whereby we want this element to this name to change over time, right? Or let's say we are building like an application that displays the time, right? And now we want to display what's it called? Want to display 10 uh want to display the time like this, you get for example. And we want this numbers to be changing, right? How do we do that? So that's where the document object model comes into play. So it's a means for you to write JavaScript and use JavaScript to control wait. To use JavaScript to control what is being displayed in HTML. Now, first of all, the first term I want you guys to try and understand it's there's this thing called DOM and there's this called boom, right? People tend to interchange them, but they are kind of like different. Anyway, so let's start with uh, uh, understanding how we could use DOM to manipulate whatever is in our HTML. So now, first things first, we have to import the um, we have to write our JavaScript code and then import it in our HTML. So in order to do that, the first thing we are going to do is let's go to our JavaScript, right? And let's write some JavaScript code, right? So if you want to access HTML elements, there are several ways to do it. And these are called DOM methods, right? So we have document. Sorry, I think I would have to type elsewhere and come back to the HTML because I can't type with this thing. I'm actually not in the best of positions to type at the moment. So let's do this way. Let me type something quickly, and I would paste it over for you guys to see. But we have for you to be able to access the DOM, there is what we call you could access them by the following. So you could access them the by an element tag. So I'll use EL to represent elements, right? So you can access them by element tag. we could access them by an element ID. We access elements by elements classes, right? And we could do something whereby we could like there's something called like a query selector. Now that query selector, what it does is it allows us to query uh, elements based on either by specifying like parameters. So we could specify things like an ID, a tag, and a class as part of the query option. So basically, it's like a mismatch, right, of stuff. So now, um, how do we start the so let our HTML. So first things first. There's this thing in JavaScript we call console. So it helps you guys must have known about it. It helps you see your code that is being run. So here, just to make sure, if you should put like let's say console.log and we say hello, right? You can see we have our console log here, right? So this, but to ensure, so how do we ensure? So I think, yeah. So how do we ensure our document is connected to our HTML? First of all, let's give this HTML an ID. Let us say the ID is time. So now, if you let's go with the okay. First, let's start with tag, right? So let's get this out of the way. Let's say we want to access this tag on our JavaScript, right? So there's this code. So access by tag, there's this DOM method called document. So let's say const el to represent an element. So we are saying this element is going to be document get element by tag name, and then we could specify the tag which one, right? And now if I should console log this element, what do we have here? Look, it shows us the document property of our HTML. So now this h1 tag, you see here, this is how it's been represented in JavaScript. HTML collection basically is a class that stores the list of different HTML attributes. And an HTML header element is the particular element that will be looked over in our DOM. And these elements have an object and attributes that we'll get into later. But for now, just understand that the inner HTML property is what is responsible for displaying whatever is inside the HTML tag. So this could be a simple text like we have here. Circumstances vary. We could have a paragraph here, for example, and have that paragraph displayed, right? And if we should inspect the particular element, we could see that it can show you that the inside this HTML element, right? We have a paragraph in it. Now this n hyphen n slash t and hyphen t is basically how we represent different keystrokes on your browser. So this hyphen n means new line. So it means, so we are in this line, we move to the next line, which is this line here. So that's what this new line means, right? Then that is slash n. Then this slash t means we clicked on the tab key So if you can see, we have this tab key here that we moved, right? So if we open it now, you see that we have 2/n to represent /t rather to represent two tab keys we have. So that's basically how we represent like shortcuts. So if you have like a renderer, right, something to render this HTML string, it's going to render the string, putting all this into consideration. So it's going to probably like arrange stuff. That's what it means. So now we've accessed this HTML element. So I'm just going to remove this p tag to get it for example purpose. So now we have this HTML element here, right? So since we've accessed it, we can do a lot with it, right? We could change its content. So for example, if I say, uh, if I target this specific element, I can say el, which is a specific element, dot so the um, give me a sec, I'm coming. All right, so yeah, sorry, I'm replying someone. It's kind of like urgent. Okay, so back to what we are saying. Um, our element when we try to get elements by tag name, right? This elements, this element we are trying to get by tag name, it's basically a list of elements, right? Because remember, we could have multiple specific tag, right? Though it's right practice to have more than just one H1 in a single page. But the, let's say the element is like a p tag, right? If it's a p tag, it means we could have various paragraphs in the page, right? We could have multiple paragraphs in the page. So if I duplicate this, and I'll give this one 2, and give this one 3, what happens is when we use this document, when this code runs, what happens is that it stores all the occurrence of whatever element we choose. So in this case, if we choose P, it's going to, as you can see here, it's giving us like a list of all the HTML paragraph elements we have, as you can see here as well, right? So this is um, this is it. So now, just like in your JavaScript, right? Um, if you want to access a specific paragraph, so let's say we have a variable, and this variable we call it first paragraph, right? This first paragraph, right? We could make this first paragraph, and as you can see, this is an array. You guys already know what an array is. It's a way to store to store a collection of elements, right? So this is an array, and as you can see, it has a 0 attribute, right? So now, if I should access this first index of this array, right, and which is going to be this first element here. If I come here and I console log this first paragraph, attribute, right, just a specific element, and now we could do stuff to it, right? So I cannot say like this first paragraph. Let's say I want to change the text of this paragraph. The text in this paragraph. So whatever we put in as the inner HTML value, that is what is going to happen. It should be an empty string. Watch, our first element doesn't have anything. So let's start putting values, right? So if I put in, let's say, I'm going to do something here, and I'm just going to run a function, which is new date. So date string of this element, right? So this is a way to change. So with this inner HTML property, we change the content of our HTML, right? So you can see this is the beauty of JavaScript. JavaScript allows you to change stuff in the HTML, right? Now, since and whatever thing you've learned in JavaScript, if your element falls in, if you remember, our elements is an array, right? So our element is an array that stores the three elements we have in our UI. So let's say we want a specific thing to happen to each element. So let's do something, right? So um, let's say we have. Let me look for. Let me look for quickly. Uh, dummy view and dummy uh, post JSON. All right. So coming. Oh, for those who are interested, right? So I I googled what's it called, dummy. So if we go back to what I have, I googled just uh, dummy post JSON, and I was taken to this website, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into get products, so get up products, right? And this gives us a list of like products. So if we click on it, it's going to show you an example of what a product has, right? So what is going to happen is that I'm going to copy this URL, right? And I'm going to put it on the browser here, and I'm going to get this this object, right? It's a lot of data, um, but it's fine. We're just going to copy this, and I'm going to explain this data quickly in our other page. So if you go back to this point, right, and here I could do this. So I'm going to say const products, right? So I'm going to paste this very long list. Let's see if we could format it, right? So uh, I run format. Good. So we formatted it. It looks better, right? So what's going to happen? I'm just going to need a couple of them. So let's just say I'm taking the first 5, and anyone outside that, I'm just going to get rid of. All right. So I'm going to get rid of anyone outside the first 5. All right. So now let's do something interesting, right? So in our HTML, let's say we have um, let's say we have a div, right? And this div, we have uh, an image, right? Okay, so I forgot I'm not in the VS Code terminal, so some of the shortcuts there don't work. So src, right? And yeah. So what's going to happen is I'll just quickly write this in on VS Code and get back to the HTML quickly. I just want to demonstrate something. So we're going to have a div, and that div we have an image, and let's say we have uh, a H2 to represent like the title of the product, and also we have a paragraph to represent the description. So D, this is, yeah, P, okay. All right, so I've written what I want to write on VS Code, so I'm going to just paste it here. So this is what we have, right? So now I'm going to name this div. I'm going to give it a class called product, right? And this is going to be product image. This this is going to be just the image, ing, or let's say product ing, right? So now we're going to do some CSS for this. So for demo purpose, I'm just going to grab one of the image URL we have here. So this is a thumbnail, right? So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to place it here. And next, I'm going to put like H1, H2, I'm just going to call it iPhone. And paragraph, I'll just say this is a great phone. I think the spelling of my great is terrible. All right, so let's quickly Google check the spelling. Oh, actually, it's correct. All right, so this is what we have here. So let's say we have a button, uh, button BU, right? And we need to close the button tag. And this button is just going to be, we'll just say add to cart. Right? So let's go to our CSS to make this a little bit prettier, right? So first things first, I'm going to say, I'm going to change this thing to just body to apply to all fonts, right? So I'll just say body. Right, so let's do some, just some basic CSS. So star, command, star, column after, star, column before, and we'll say the margin should be 0, the padding should be 0, the box sizing,
Hello, Will. Can you hear me? Good evening.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we can't see your font is really very small. Please, can you zoom in?
Oh, okay. So,
Yes. So
excuse me.
thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is
this is
this
better.
better?
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay. Funny enough, with this, it's very difficult for me to scroll. Let's see.
Or maybe you can zoom out
Okay.
just one more time.
I should say zoom more.
No, like if it's difficult for you to scroll, you can just reduce it just
Okay,
once.
don't worry.
All right.
Okay, don't
Okay.
worry. I'll manage. All right. So we have this box sizing. So here I'm going to set the font size. Sorry, I'm going to set the HTML. So I'll say HTML, and I'm just going to say font size is going to be 62.5 percent. So it's basically 65.5% is basically if the browser's font is like let's say uh, if the browser's font is like 16 pixels, right? If we 16 pixels of 60 pixels of 10% of 10 10 pixels in percentage to 16 pixels, it's like 62.5. So if you convert 16 pixels, uh, if you want to know what 10, uh, the percentage, of 10 in 16 is equals to 62.5%. Yeah. So that's what this basically means. Right. So with this basic setup, let's actually get to the actual work. So I'm gonna make I'm gonna give the product class, so dot product. I'm gonna say it should have a width of uh, let's say 15 rand, right? And let's give it the height is going to be auto, right? Auto height. And now the next thing we need to worry about is the what's it called? It's going to be the uh, great. So the next thing we have to worry about is going to be the product, the image rather. So I'm gonna write this CSS, this following CSS. So I'm gonna say uh, dot product. Then I'm targeting just the image in the product, and I'm gonna make the image responsive by giving it a width of 100%, a height of 100%. Sorry, 100%. And I'm going to make the object fit. I'm going to set that to cover so it scales, right? So for those of you who are wondering, uh, this is how webs the something looks right now, right? So sorry, console. It looks like this. Oh, sorry. So it looks like this. Let's reduce the height a bit. Probably let's give it 5, something small that we could work with. Uh, So we just be a little bit patient. I think my network isn't that great, so it's not refreshing as quickly as I want it to. I just want to make sure things are working fine. I'll put a color to the background color just to make sure my elements have been targeted. Okay, so as you can see, the CSS seems to not being applied to the page, and it's quite understandable, right? So we haven't done the needful to get the CSS to work. Um, that's why. So I'm just going to copy like something and just paste quickly on the HTML page. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to then move this element and put it here. Sorry about that. So format, and I'm going to link up my CSS. So I'll say style, and we are going to link instead. So link. I'm going to go off a link here. and say style.css. Um, uh, it's still not been applied. Is there a special thing I need to do? Click. Let's see. Let me see the configuration. This should. Okay, just so we don't waste time. Okay, so you can see things have been applied now. So I'm going to remove this blue color. I'm going to make it 15. Okay, I think this 15 is small, so let's make it like 20. Okay, so this seems to be a good number. So this is like the first design we made for the image. So let's tackle the H1 and the H2 and the paragraph. So I'm going to say dot product and dot product, and we are targeting now the H1, right? H2, and I'm saying that it should have a margin. So I'm just going to give it a margin. The top is and the bottom, I'm just going to give it 1 rem, and the left and right is just going to be 0, right? So we have a little bit of space around it. And I'm also going to make the font a little bit bigger. So I'm going to set the font size. I'm going to say it should be, I just say 2 rem. So twice the size of, or yeah, twice the size of the normal font, right? So the next thing we want to do is, I'm just, for the paragraph, I just want to make the something italic. So I'm going to say dot product, and I'm going to say paragraph, right? And I'm just going to make the font style, and I'm just going to say italic. Yeah, that's it. And for the button, so we're just going to so dot product and button. Right, so in this button, I'm just going to say border. I'm just going to say 1 pix 0.1 rem solid black. So let's use black color. Black is always never bad. I'm going to give it a padding of I'm going to give the padding of 1 rem all through, left, right, bottom, everywhere. And I'm going to say uh, and I want it to be at the center. So let's see if I should say text. Does this work? No, it doesn't. It's fine. All I just have to do is I'm going to modify our HTML a little bit. So I'm going to give, I'm going to create a div. And I'm going to call this products with an S. Or let's say product list. Not something more descriptive. And I'm going to wrap the entire HTML we already have with it. And okay, our button, I want to give it a margin. I'm going to give the margin for the top and bottom to be 1 rem, and the left and right. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to say left and right to be auto. So it's just going to center a line. Sorry, I put this auto in the wrong place. So there's several. If I want to center this button, there's several ways we could do it. But I think my I think the best option we could do for now is to sorry, I'm spelling that wrongly. Right. Okay. And I just want to give a little bit of margin to our product margin, and I'm going to say 0.2 rem. So okay, we'll add a little bit of padding as well. For the padding, I'm just going to say 1. Okay, so we have this. I don't want to spend too much time on the CSS. This is not what we are doing. So there's just one more change I want to make, and it's to our product list. So I'll say dot product list. Oh, it doesn't really matter. We'll do that one later. So what I just want to point out is we have this design now, right? So let's say we want to render. If we want to use JavaScript to now render our products dynamically, so let's say this product comes from like a backend, a database or something. I want to render it in our HTML using the DOM, right? With this, we could use this get element by tag name or class name, right? And we could do good things with it. So get element by tag name is just one of the methods to get element by. There's a second one called get element by class name. So as you can see, we have the class called product, right? And we could do good things with this, right? So what we could do is that we could replace this P. We could say get element by, and we could use class name instead. And I can put our paragraph, right? So now I'm going to remove this code. We don't need this. So now if you can see, we have, this is our HTML here. This is our inner HTML, right? So with JavaScript, what we could do, we could reconstruct the HTML we want to display in the page, right? So right now, we have this as like a sample, right? So I can just copy this, and in our previous code where we have this inner HTML, right? What I can do is that I could paste this code here, right? I could paste this code. However, I can make things dynamic, right? So I can make things dynamic, right? So how do we do that? So I could put in I could use a for loop, right? So now you guys have learned about for loop before. So we are just going to show you a good example of how for loop can be used in situations like this, right? So I'm going to write a for loop here. So I'm going to say for so for um, all right. So I'm lazy. I used like my VS Code to just quickly get this in a while. So I'm going to iterate over this element here. And here, I'm going to call this element products. I'm going to use P for it, right? And then this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this code we have here, right? I'm going to move it to, I'll remove this consider log, we don't need it. I'm going to move it to the for loop. And instead of first paragraph, I'm going to say P, right? Sorry. This is, yeah, I'm going to say, I'm going to change, I'm going to change something quickly. So I'm going to make this the product list instead. So because we want to add products to this product list, right? So I'm going to say product list. And now I'm going to loop over this array we have here, right? This is the array we have here. So, and for each of this array, I'm going to modify our product list, right? So I'm going to modify our product list. So this is what we want to be in the product list, right? So I'm going to give this product list an ID instead, so it makes it easier to target. So there's also a method to get specific elements by the ID, so which is get element by ID, right? So now with this element that we have by ID, I can now do this. I could say EL. But before we even go far into our EL, so I want to display each product inside. Okay, so this is what is going to happen. So we have our EL. So here EL. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, for every time we loop over elements, I want to add them into our element, into the that tag. So I'm going to do this thing. So el.inner HTML, which is basically what represents the HTML. I'm going to say it's equals to. So now I'm going to do like a very nifty trick. You guys may have learned that when you learn strings. So I'm going to combine this because this is an element. So I'm going to combine it with a new one, which is going to be this paragraph div, right? So I'm going to just put it here. So so in each paragraph, I'm going to make all these things dynamic, right? So if we look into our array, right? So if we, let me close this. So if we look into our array, right? dollar sign allows us to dynamically fill things in. So if you look into our array, we have product, then we have thumbnail, right? And this P represents individual products. So it will be the product dot the thumbnail, right? So that's for the product. Then now, for the thumbnail, let us have the thumbnail have the okay. So let's put in the name of the product. Yeah. So this product title, which is iPhone 9, we'll do something like this. So this is going to be P dot, and what are we looking at? Let me zoom in a bit.
Hello guys, good evening. So I think he's having network issues. He just dropped off the call. He should be back shortly. Just seeing I can see all your messages in this chat. So once he comes back, we'll try to resolve that. But please, if you're on YouTube, try to increase your video quality. But for all others, I'll let him know once he's back. Thank you. All right. I think okay. Let me address some of the messages and some of the chats I'm seeing. Yeah, I'm seeing messages about not seeing his screen. I know he zoomed in at a point. So please I'd like to know at what point did you not see his screen? Because we had asked him to zoom in. Let me know so that at least when he comes back we'll know how to pick it up. And then whether it's his network that is making it blurry. But please just hold on. Thank you guys.
Hello?
Hello, Will.
Yeah, sorry. How long have I been out?
You dropped off. Guess his network.
Yeah, sorry about that. Uh, and a lot of the things I was doing actually went out with my network. Okay, so
Oh wow.
um, yeah, but don't worry. I'm just going to improvise quickly. So
Okay. So please, while you go by it again, can for your screen, we have a complaint that it wasn't so clear, so you might have to zoom in this time around.
oh, okay. So just quickly, um, what we're gonna do is so I'm gonna write my code on VS Code and quickly just move over here quickly. So um, please give me like few seconds to do that. I'll be right back. So we have products div dash st inside we have products a div of products and we have an image and we have a paragraph h2 plus a paragraph plus a button. Okay. All right, and we have style. So style, uh, style before style, um, margin 0, padding 0. So for those guys, for those who are wondering, I'm actually just writing the previous code we wrote before. My network was bad. Everything I was doing wiped out. So now I'm just trying to write everything as fast as I can on like a code editor with like IntelliSense completion to help the process faster, right? So body, we have font family, Lato, then font size 1 million. Then we have um, our product. So dot product is this of 25 rand height auto. Yeah, this is the only thing I did here. Then we have dot product image. I need the width 100%, the height 100%, object fit cover, and we had the h2, so product h2. I made it font size to be 2 rem. Then for products, we have products paragraph. I need the font style to be italic. Then for the button, so product button, I said the border should be 0.1 rem solid black. I made the padding one red, I think, and yeah, I think that I made padding, added padding one red to, and also added margin if I'm not mistaken. So I said margin. Okay, so I'm going to leave that margin stuff. Okay, so I'm done with the HTML. I'm just going to copy and paste it in the browser now. Right, so
Okay, Will, you know you're sharing your screen.
oh, sorry. Uh, uh, oh, okay. So we are sharing now, right? So all right. So we have this HTML, and we don't really have content in this HTML. So I'm gonna quickly put it.
Yes, you are, but can you zoom in a bit?
Okay.
Will, can you
Let's,
zoom in? Can you hear me?
yeah, I've zoomed in. Can you guys see?
Um, all right, this is okay.
Okay. So now what I've done is so this is I'm just gonna quickly just put dummy stuff here. So for the image, we have this, and I'll just say product image, and h2 we just have, I'll just put this, and I'll say product hyphen, then I'll say the price. All right, then button will be add to right. So if we look at our design, it's saying product is not iterable. Yeah, I think using for off doesn't really work when you're trying to. I think for off loop over objects, but it's supposed to loop in arrays in like in some environments like in Node. I think it does do that, but for some reason it's showing that it doesn't loop over in here. So what I'm just going to do, I'm going to change this quickly. So in my JavaScript, I'm just going to quickly just make this change. So instead of using this shortcut for off, I'm going to replace it with the traditional for, and this is going to be the array is going to be products.length, right? And now P is going to represent each element. So I'll say const P is equals to the products array colon the index. Right, so that should fix the error we are having. Okay, so look what we have here now. So if we should come here and refresh, say product is not defined. Let's see. I thought we did it here. Oh, the spelling is wrong. Oh, I think that was what was happening with the previous one as well. Let's confirm. Okay.
Okay, hi, Will. So, guys, I'm seeing messages that you can't see the screen. I can see his screen, so I don't know what's going on. Probably it's network on your end. And so
You guys
please try.
can't see the screen. Ah, that's weird. Okay. Um
I think you should zoom in instead of zooming out. Thank you.
you, yeah, I wanted to easily scroll to this point of the screen. Oh, okay. So um our JavaScript is not let's see, document get product list. So let's inspect things properly. So I'm going to open our console and I'm going to search for I'm going to try and fix some of the errors we are having. So first, let's see if we are getting our element correctly. So if I should console.log el. Okay, so as you can see, it's showing null, right? And that's because we use a class here instead of an ID. So change that. Yeah. So now it's showing the specific element and it's showing what it's been seen. All right. So that's the first step. So the next step is that the HTML for the element, I'm changing it. So let's see. So products, terminal. Okay, so we have so our for loop hasn't run yet. Why? So let me just check what's going on here. And I'm going to loop. So as you can see, um, the for loop is not running. I don't know why it's having this behavior. I don't know why it's having this behavior, but it's going to affect whatever I'm trying to demo to you guys. I'm going to do this quickly just to help myself out. I'm just going to put a script in this HTML and probably to fix whatever is going on there. So let's do that. And let's refresh. So I've refreshed the browser is refreshing. Okay. Yeah, the same thing is still happening. My for loop is not running. So okay, so this is a mistake on my part. So let's go back. I've seen something that I should have actually noticed it earlier when that for off stuff didn't work. This is this we have here is
Well,
an
can you
object. It's supposed to
zoom
be an
in?
array. It's supposed to be an array. So I'm going to
Will,
quickly
please zoom
fix
in. Can you hear me?
okay. How small is my screen? Because right now it's so big, I'm actually finding it very difficult to navigate. So I'm wondering how small it is to you guys.
Oh, okay. I
Like,
think okay. This is okay. This should be. I can see this clearly, so I think this should be okay for everyone.
okay, okay. All right, so I'm gonna get rid of all this. We don't need them. All right. So now, so guys, look. So if we say const, so here, so for those ones where there's one mistake I made earlier. I used for off, and it will still work. So if I say product here, and I use off here, so off, and I say p, right? So it will still work. All right. So now look, everyone. So what happens is that this is what we've done with JavaScript. We have, let's say we made this request from our database that gets all these products, right? And now we identified this specific HTML element. Look at it, this product list, right? And now, since we've identified it, we use for loop to what? To add individual products to this product list, right? So now we have something like this. So can you guys see it? So you can see all our products, and you can see all their prices are unique, right? All their prices are unique. All the information, pictures, everything are unique. So all we just have to do is to fix of the. So I don't know if you guys are seeing like the screen clearly. Excuse me, I'll zoom out a bit so I can. Yeah, so I can work. So now, if you look, this first product we have here, which basically represents the first stuff we added, right? So in our HTML, I can just fix that quickly, and I could just remove this. So since we no longer need it, I could just comment on it, right? And I want to make some changes. I want to put a little bit of margin. So margin to my products, to the button for on the top. Well, for the bottom, everything is fine. So now let's see. So this is how it looks. So we have, can you guys see the screen now? It's clear, right? Amaka, is everything clear, right? Okay, so
Yeah, I can see the. I think the part that's not. You're showing the font, the site itself.
yeah, so basically, so you guys can see how JavaScript made it easier to do this, right? Now we are no longer dependent on using HTML to write to fill in our products anymore. As you can see, we just have this tag, this product list tag, and then we use JavaScript to finish to make the content of that page dynamic. So this is one way in which DOM manipulation can help us make our website dynamic. I want to make the product display in rows and stuff. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to modify the CSS a little. So I'm going to say, I'm going to target the product list, I think. So pound list. And I'm going to make this product list to display flex. So I'll say display flex. Yeah. By default, the flex direction is going to be row. So column gap, I'm just going to say does 5 rem. The same thing for row gap. And for then I'll set the flex wrap. I think this is wrong. Let me confirm from my code editor quickly. So flex, yeah, wrap. Okay, so yeah. Oops, wrap. So with that, I think we should have, yeah. So as you can see, um, now our phones are now arranged like on top of each other or something like that, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's give it a little bit of more row gap. So let's say the row gap. I'm going to give it a height this time around. And 25 rem. And the row, okay, this is, has to be more. So let's say 2. Okay. Oh, okay. So the only issues we have is some of um, the only issues we are having is with our CSS. So as you can spot, so it's like you could see the add to cart button is hidden for some reason, and I think it's because of the height of the image, and I think our object fit we applied on the image isn't working. So cancel. So let's see. Um, okay, so I'm going to give it a pixelated value for the width and height, for the height rather. So I'm just going to make the height um, 15 rem. The reason is because if we say the height should be 100%, it's just going to cover everything. So yeah, that fixes our issue. So as you can see, this is how the products, our website looks now. Please, Amaka, confirm that you could see what I'm showing right now.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, so you guys see now we are able to make our website JavaScript, right? So if tomorrow, so let's say this database we have here, right? If tomorrow we add more items to it, so if I copy, so let's say I come here and I want to copy all this stuff here. See, okay, yeah, this is it, I think. Yeah. So let's say I come here and I copy this. So this is like a new, the last product item we have. So if I should copy that and I paste here, so now added one. Right. So now we've added one more item, which is this product. We've added it to the list. Now watch. Look at our HTML. You see, it's displaying. So with JavaScript, we are able to manipulate our HTML to do what we want. So to recap, we looked at DOM manipulation today, and we discussed that DOM manipulation, it's basically a means for you to change or the state at which your current HTML is. So we demonstrated using a sample website, a sample product website. So we have this website, for example, and this website we had just one div that says product. Initially, this div just had like a single product, and so I think yeah. So initially, this div just had one single product, and it wasn't dynamic; it was static. If we needed to add stuff to it, we have to do it from the HTML. So, but now we now learned what DOM manipulate. What we learned 3 methods in DOM manipulation today. So we learned three methods of the DOM, and they are get element by ID, get element by class name, get element by tag name, right? And we use them, and I showed you whenever you get element by class name, or yeah, whenever you get element by class name or you get elements by tag name, what happens is that it gives you a list of all the elements that have that specific class or that specific tag. However, when you use the word get element by ID, you are getting just one single word element. And that one single element, that is why when you have when you use CSS to design your website, you don't name you don't use ID unless you want to identify a single element, right? So that's like one of the reasons we do that, is because in JavaScript, the first occurrence of this ID is what is going to be used. So if I come here and I duplicate this, it's not going to increase the number of items we have here. It's still going to remain the same, because what the JavaScript recognize is just this first one, right? This first ID here. So it only recognizes one, right? So that is what get element by ID does. And we looked at specific properties that you could do with the elements, right? So when you get a specific element by ID, we said you could change the HTML content. And that is what we looked at today. The ability to change the HTML content of a specific element. There are other things you could do. You could add classes to the list of classes. You could change attributes of that element. There's a lot of good stuff you could do with it, right? However, we are going to look into that some other time. We've way past our time, and first we had network issues on my end, so for some time I wasn't online. But basically, with this, I hope you guys will probably have a little bit of idea about how DOM manipulation works, and how what can the possibilities that can be done when you are working with what's it called, the DOM manipulation, right? Because the list of things you can do is just endless. It's not going to be a very pretty experience. You guys will have observed it already, that the JavaScript, writing JavaScript and HTML together, it's pretty not it's not really like the best of experience. As you can see, our our HTML looks weird in this, right? And we did not have any like ways to IntelliSense or anything like that when working with our JavaScript. But basically, this is just to demonstrate to you guys what can happen in the DOM with using HTML DOM. So I'm going to stop here, and if you guys have any questions, you could ask. The floor is open for questions now. So, are there any questions?
No, there are no questions. At least I can't say any for now.
Okay. So I'm going to send over uh, the source code for this project, so you guys could play around with it, and yeah. So right. So what's happening? Okay. I did a mistake, so it's supposed to be script. Okay. So I'm gonna send you guys the source code, so you guys could have fun with it on your leisure. And since there's no question, that will be all for today. Thank you guys for your time. Bye, and we'll see you tomorrow in our next class.
All right, well, thank you so much. Bye, guys.